Alright, so hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome to the introduction video for Cancer season. So I just want to start off by saying here, happy birthday to all of you solar Cancers out there, okay? It is your season. Now, in today's video then, what I'm going to be explaining is the sign of Cancer, followed by your Cancer house within your natal birth chart, followed by your moon sign and house, and then finishing up with the fourth house within astrology, really with the intention of explaining the archetype of Cancer overall. Though what I would like to know though in the comment section is if you have any planets within the sign of Cancer, or do you not have any planets within the sign of Cancer, what planets are in your fourth house even, or even what is your moon sign. Let us know in the comments. And I would also like to mention here that I have created this Cancer season book, so it's available for a digital download. I'm going to put a link to it in the description box below, but this basically is a practical how-to guide made for all zodiac signs, okay, all zodiac signs. It talks about the Cancer archetype, Cancer mythology, the Cancer symbol, the moon symbol, the moon signs, fourth house, parenting in astrology, closure in astrology, the fourth house ruler, and also Cancer and the moon intercepted along with the fourth house intercepted. And I just want to say a big thank you and congratulations to the winner of the cover. So Natalia, you created this beautiful image, she created this image, so give it up for Natalia. It's a beautiful piece of work, and yeah, so like I said, if you want to pick up a copy, go to the link in the description box. So with all of those introductions out of the way, let's do this. Now, for more information all about archetypes, then please be sure to check out my introduction video. But in a nutshell, an archetype is a primitive mental image derived from the collective unconscious. So when it comes to the sign of Cancer, the mental image associated with this archetype is what looks like the number 69. Now, it could be suggested that this 69 represents the yin-yang symbol, or the anima and the animus. But if you look really closely, you can see that the symbol looks like a pair of arms wrapping themselves across each other, kind of like, sort of like this, you know? So just notice how I'm wrapping my arms around my torso. So I'm sort of wrapping it around the stomach area, and then of course the breasts and the stomach, they are the body parts that Cancer rules over within astrology. It's the stomach symbolism that signifies Cancer's sensitivity and vulnerability, and it's the breasts that symbolizes the significance of nurturance and caring support associated with the sign of Cancer as well. After all, it is the woman's breast milk that provides nutrition to their newborn child, and the stomach is the very body part that the baby grows and develops in. What the symbol can also symbolize, so this 69 symbol, this Cancer symbol, is the ever-changing quality to the sign of Cancer, where things move in cycles and patterns, sort of like a whirlpool. Much like the moon changes from new to full to new and back again, and so on and so forth. And this is quite interesting because this goes in line with the woman's menstrual cycle as well. Now, before we do go further into the archetype of Cancer, let's actually take this a step back and address the archetype of Gemini, because it's Gemini season that comes before Cancer season. And so what Gemini really shows us is how we can switch things up and change direction after coming from Taurus season that was filled with plenty of stability and grounded energy. It's Gemini season that really helps us logically make sense of the times in which we feel stuck in a rut, or when we are attaching ourselves to certain routines that no longer serve us. Gemini season also helps us intellectualize our experience so far, by really asking questions and thinking about new approaches to living a fuller and richer life. We are able to identify how we communicate then as a way to obtain the things that we need or the things that we require within the material world. We are also able to identify how we form casual or generalized, more superficial relationships with others, some of which are out of our control. So for example, classmates at school, your siblings, your cousins. But it's through these chit-chat types of relationships and conversations that we form our own perceptions, and our mind then starts to form our thoughts based upon what we perceive through the five senses. Keeping in mind, Taurus is all about the five senses, and that comes before Gemini. So try to maybe think of it like this. How would I know that my name is Hannah without another person telling me that my name is Hannah? So essentially, I heard this name through my hearing. Or how would I know that that bag of popcorn is in fact called popcorn without it being written on the bag at the store? Also, how would I know I liked popcorn without tasting that popcorn for the first time? It's then our thoughts that are processed through our body, through our nervous system, and they are delivered back out as a frequency sine wave, as they are sent back out to the immediate environment, hitting off a range of things that are both seen and unseen. So it kind of goes like this. As I am communicating, waves, the frequency sound waves are going like this, outward. After all, humans can only see merely a speck of what exists, yet we think we are so wise and so smart and that we know it all. Anyways, it's these thoughts that are then sent back out, creating a vibration, but not only does what we say and think carry a vibration or frequency, but our physical body, so how our physical body moves, they carry certain vibrations as well. So you could be having a conversation with someone and that person may be saying one thing, but yet their body language is saying a completely different story. And furthering on from this, well, the actions that we make physically, they of course carry a vibration as well. So when you say that you're going to do something, do you follow through with it? Therefore, what we say and what we do, they can often be out of sync with each other. So this in turn can actually create disharmony. But this also shows us the duality of the mind and the body. Though still, what other powerful bodily function carries a vibration? You guessed it, our emotions. The very things that could be suggested carry the biggest waves of all. And it is water that is associated with emotion within astrology, and naturally the sign of Cancer is the first water sign. Therefore, as we approach Cancer season, the dialogue changes. The dialogue changes from the intellectual to the emotional, so quite drastically so. But this transition also shows us how the two impact one another as well. But more specifically, how it is that information impacts how we feel on a whole. For example, if somebody was to tell you that your dog died, how would that make you feel? Or if someone was to tell you that you just won $10,000, how would that make you feel? You could say that you would feel sad about your dog, or you could say that you would feel happy and excited about the money. But yet, it's only until you're in that situation or in that very moment that you truly know how you will respond or react emotionally. Because the thing about emotions is that you don't know 100% of the time how you will react. It's your emotions that respond to the information being delivered to you in that very moment. It's that first initial response to anything that impacts you emotionally. If your sister tears down your favorite poster, how do you react to that? Do you kick and you scream? Do you run to your mom to tell her? Or do you go in to your sister's room and then start tearing down her posters in return? Or do you just kind of look at her and say, joke's on you, because I have 2 more. Na, 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 na. And this right here is what the archetype of Cancer is all about. So how you react emotionally to the world around you, but also how you react emotionally to what is going on inside of you as well. So when you have a negative thought, for example, towards yourself, do you feel sad? Do you feel embarrassed? Do you wish you looked different or like you don't belong? Therefore, it is the archetype of Cancer that takes us deeper, much deeper into our psyche, because we connect both the thought and the emotion together. However, it's also our emotional responses that are formed with repetition and cycles. So let's say you are 4 years old and your mother has a certain nickname that she calls you. She will call you that nickname whenever she feels good or whenever you behave yourself. But then those times whenever your mother may feel mad or a bit angry at herself or at you, because maybe you misbehaved, she may actually then start to call you by your real name, so your full name. And what this does is this emphasizes her dissatisfaction, meaning that it is the archetype of Cancer that shows us how patterns are formed from a very instinctive level, where it simply becomes second nature to us. And there is something highly significant about this, because it's Cancer that really is connected with our childhood and our upbringing, so our family upbringing, but yet it's this same process that can be subjective too. For example, a child who perceives their father to be a stern and strict father, they might say something like, oh well, my father never cared about me, he was always trying to control me. But then fast forward 20 years later, that then same person then has their own children, and they themselves, they might actually be a strict and stern parent. So does that then mean that that person is then not very caring towards their children? Or can they grow to then empathize with what their father experienced due to them experiencing a similar thing themselves? And therefore, how we look at the past, that changes with time, forming new perspectives too. And so in this way, Cancer shows us the importance of empathy, where we're able to understand others due to feeling a certain way or a certain emotion. But it's also about support on all levels. And it is family, it's a family unit that is all about support. So supporting a newborn child, because they are highly vulnerable and simply would not survive without a person caring for them and guiding them. Cancer is about making sure that everyone is feeling okay, and if they aren't, trying to figure out a way to make them feel better. And naturally, this is important to the longevity of the family unit, so that their DNA can then continue on. But on that note, Cancer is also represented with heritage and with ancestry, so the importance of really exploring the past in order to identify how we have developed over time. Therefore, it is the archetype of Cancer that represents past patterns and conditioning, so how we have been programmed through this repetition and through tradition. Now, Cancer is comprised of cardinal water, resulting in a rather emotional in-the-moment sign. So whatever emotions come out, they are raw, they're fresh out of the gate. Cardinal water uses emotion as motivation, uses emotion to set things in motion, uses emotion to feel out the atmosphere and what information is being processed. So whenever you enter into a new experience, for example, do you feel nervous? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel scared? Do you feel excited? Happy? Do you feel giddy? Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to play a few quick clips of certain movies and stories that I personally think can be associated with the sign of Cancer. So what you've probably gathered from these movies is that Cancer is a sign of family and belonging. It takes that Gemini logical, detached mental energy and it seeks to form emotional attachments to what it's experiencing. So for example, whenever it comes to a friend at school and you're laughing together and you're having a chat together, later on you may sort of reflect on your day and then you just might sort of laugh to yourself because you're thinking about that memory. But fast forward years later, if you're still friends with that person from school, you may then really look back on that time and reminisce with them. And Cancer here, Cancer is a sign connected with memory. It's a sign that can be nostalgic and can be sentimental. But it's these very things that can make for emotional attachment as well. Meaning that when it comes to your Cancer house within your natal birth chart, well, this can show you where this emotional energy is playing out. So let's say, for example, that you have the sign of Cancer ruling your 7th house within your natal birth chart. You might form an emotional attachment to your partner, possibly without even realizing it. Or let's say, for example, you have the sign of Cancer ruling your 5th house. You might form an emotional attachment with any children you have without realizing that you may be smothering or suffocating them. Therefore, it is really important for us to develop our own emotional security and support within our Cancer house, where we learn how to evaluate what we expect from others emotionally, but also learning how to place limits upon how much we give of ourselves emotionally as well. See, we can often ignore our boundaries within our Cancer house, leading to possible disappointment. We might feel used and we might demonstrate behaviors such as being dependable and being rather clingy. So someone with Cancer ruling the 3rd house, for example, they might feel used in how they communicate with others because they're so used to being the supportive listener over communicating how they feel inside. Or someone with Cancer ruling the 4th house, they might experience a highly clingy parent who never seems to get off their damn back. The Cancer house can also show you where you feel most vulnerable and sensitive, resulting in you shielding your emotions from any threat. And this is why you often notice with Cancer Sun, Moon and Risings people that they can be very protective and guarded from potential predators, so to speak. But it's also where your gut intelligence can be found as well. So whenever you really listen to your gut. So someone with Cancer ruling the 11th house, they might have this strong gut feeling about a future vision that they have. Or someone with Cancer ruling the 6th house, they might have this strong gut feeling about their job. But furthering on from this point, it's the Cancer house that can also show us our triggers. So what triggers us and who triggers us emotionally? Let's actually bring in the moon signs here as well, because the moon sign can also show you these triggers. So you could say that an Aries moon is triggered emotionally with passion, whilst a Gemini moon is triggered emotionally with their logic. But yet, it's even without facts that our Cancer energy listens to its inner compass, its inner guide, encouraging us to do the same. For example, you could say that a Leo moon is being irrational when they feel like no one is giving them attention. But yet, what if they are actually picking up on the fact that no one is, even though it seems above the surface that they are? But yet, it's also where we notice the defensive shell that can be formed as well. So with the Leo moon example here, in terms of their defense, maybe they applaud or praise the other person because they feel that they aren't being validated anyway. This can be used as a way to defend themselves from being hurt. Therefore, whilst Gemini is associated with body language, it's Cancer that goes much deeper and into the subtleties of life. It's this sign that shows us how receptive we are to what we are actually picking up from the environment. However, whilst yes, this sign is about maternal support, it's also about us learning to develop our own security and support. Because, well, the reality is that Mother is not going to be around forever. And this is why it's so important for an individual to learn how to support themselves. Meaning that it is within the Cancer house that we learn about these types of things. For example, someone with Cancer ruling the second house, they might focus on how their personal finances support them, while someone with Cancer ruling the 8th house, they might focus on how inheritance money might support them. But the key lies in emotional maturity here, where we really feel supported from within. So is a breakup going to send you into a feeling of disparity, causing you to feel paralyzed and unable to fend for yourself? Or is your iPhone being stolen or lost going to send you into confusion and fear, causing you to feel like you've nothing left because your whole identity was based around this gadget? So looking at the immature, knee-jerk responses to things and then really learning how to calm our emotional waters if we know that these responses can lead to some pretty detrimental places. But you know what? At the end of the day, pain is inevitable. We all go through similar emotional cycles, but by us allowing ourselves to move through the current rather than pushing against or resisting the current, we can feel more empowered and in control. Now, it's also important that we don't push people away either or defend ourselves against logic and reasoning. It's just really important for us to learn how to have open conversations about how we are feeling and what we're going through, so to really get it out, and by doing so we can gain more clarity. And it's also good here for us to be gentle and tender towards ourselves, towards our own sensitivities as well. Though what does it mean to have a planet within the sign of Cancer? Well, for one, it depends on the planet, but it's the energy of that planet that is being placed into this highly emotional and sensitive sign. So however this manifests is really dependent on the planet itself, but ultimately it's Cancer planets that urges us to turn inward towards ourselves, whilst also tuning into what we pick up from the atmosphere around us as well. So to really reflect on our own moods that can jade our own objective outlook. So let's say you have Mars in Cancer. This can suggest that you will most likely feel sensitive towards your energy levels. You might pick up on other people's anger quite easily and run away as soon as you feel threatened. Let's say you have Mercury within the sign of Cancer. This could suggest that you will process what you think through how you feel and vice versa. So for example, you might say something as a response to your partner out of frustration, but then later on in the day you might reflect on what you said, and with your emotions sort of more died down and feeling empathy towards your partner, you might go and apologize to your partner. But what if you actually have a stellium within the sign of Cancer? Well, this would mean that there are 4 or more planets within the sign. And again, it depends on the planet themselves, but that high volume of Cancer energy might result in a person who is highly emotional, caring and sensitive, someone who acts like the mother hen or the rooster, who really supports others and is a true cheerleader towards them, and you really share care and love and support. You might be this homebody type of person who likes to spend time with your family or just at home in general, but you'll be surrounded by things that you need or that you care about. You may also be highly compassionate and intuitive with a real sentimental streak. But this stellium could also result in a person who is quite manipulative, sneaky, moody, possessive, and a bit sulky. Someone who does not know how to control their emotions and is quite irrational. You might cling to your subjective emotion and refuse to listen to what others have to say or feel. So if you do happen to have a Cancer stellium, it would be a good idea to look at the sign or house opposite here to learn how to really balance this energy out. And you're going to be doing this through the sign of Capricorn. So learning how to be a bit more rational and calculated, learning how to let an emotion die down before taking action, and learning how to be more realistic about the situation. Though still, what if the sign of Cancer is intercepted within your natal birth chart, meaning that the sign of Cancer is being swallowed up within a house? Well, this can suggest that you grew up in an environment by which you weren't nurtured or cared for, or at least that's how you might perceive it to be. Perhaps your mother was lacking empathy in some way towards you, or perhaps your mother was smothering or overbearing. And you also might have difficulty expressing your emotions and needs to others due to them not being acknowledged whenever you were younger. So if you do have Cancer intercepted, it's a good idea to look to where the ruling planet or celestial body of Cancer is within your chart. So this is the moon. So locating the moon in order to unlock this interception and to really assess this interception by learning how to integrate it into your own conscious awareness if you choose to do so. So for example, learning how to open up about what you need rather than denying what you need. Now, when it does come to this ruling celestial body of Cancer, the moon, well, it's your moon sign that shows you how you react emotionally to things, how you care for others and yourself, how you show unconditional support towards others and yourself, and how you reflect on your day, on your personality, on your experiences, just how you reflect overall. The sign then that the moon is in can also show you how you fluctuate between moods, how you protect yourself emotionally, and how you ultimately feel secure in terms of belonging. For example, someone with a Taurus moon, they might react calmly to things, whilst the Scorpio moon, they might react intensely to things. Someone then with a Libra moon, they might care for others by being fair, whilst the Aries moon, they might care for others by being opinionated. Now, if we were to add in the houses here, so these different areas of life, well, whichever house your moon is in, this will add more layers to your moon as to how that moon sign plays out within your life. So someone with a Pisces moon in the 3rd house, they might react compassionately towards their classmates and their siblings, whereas someone with a Virgo moon in the 9th house, they might react discreetly towards what others preach or teach. The house your moon sign is in will also provide you with an indication as to where you wish to retreat and rest. So moon in the 2nd house might retreat by taking a bubble bath or having a body treatment, whilst moon in the 5th house, they might rest by painting or singing. But then moon in the 11th house, they might seek a sanctuary with their friends. The position of the moon can also provide an indication into the types of female figures or roles that you have around you. So moon in the 6th, they might have female figures who are all about cleaning and keeping things in order. But then someone with moon in the 12th house, they might have experienced female figures who impacted them greatly due to their absence. Naturally, the moon is also going to show you your subconscious self, so how you act whenever you're just on autopilot, so without even consciously thinking about it, you are just that way instinctively. Now, when it does come to the 4th house, so the 4th house ruler within your natal birth chart, well, we notice that it can provide an indication into the ways in which you were raised within your family home and how these experiences have helped shaped and molded your own identity. It's this house that can represent the atmosphere that you felt within the home, as well as the conditioning or the programming that you received. The 4th house can also be associated with an individual's ancestry and heritage, really representing the qualities that stem from your ethical or racial origins. So for example, someone with Sagittarius ruling the 4th house, they might possess qualities stemming from a family history of religious figures, whereas a person with Gemini ruling the 4th house, they might possess qualities stemming from a family history of thieves or liars. And it's also from the 4th house that we learn about how you prepare the nest, so to speak. So where you turn your attention towards your own home base. So how you were raised, but then also how you then go on to set up your own home or have your own family as well one day. So what kind of atmosphere do you yearn for as a way to feel secure? So looking at as well here, the real estate and the property. Now another thing of course is that the 4th house in correlation with the 10th house can show you the type of parenting that you received or the sort of parental roles or figures that were in your life. So these can fluctuate. Some astrologers say that the 4th house can show the mother figure whilst the 10th house can show the father figure. But there's also suggestions of how the 4th house can show the shaping parent whilst the 10th house can show the hidden parent. But like I said, these can fluctuate between them, but it's just really looking towards the 4th and the 10th house to identify these parental roles overall. But also, the 4th house can show you how you end things. So how you seek closure. So for example, Leo on the 4th, they might act quite proud about closure, whilst Aquarius on the 4th, they might act detached about it. Furthermore, the 4th house can show you how you and your family come together after losing a loved one, such as a parent. And you find with this that certain deathbed things come to light, you know, when people expose things as they're about to die. Family secrets may come to the surface during that time. Regrets might also be shared amongst family members during that time. And I think that this is why it's important for us to assess our family matters rather than letting the past catch up to us, leaving us feeling these regretful ways, feeling like we wish we could turn back time. So I think this is why closure and bringing things to light earlier on rather than later is an important thing for our overall well-being. It's just really important, I think, for us to let out our innermost feelings and needs before it's too late. Overall, it is the sign of Cancer that signifies emotion and belonging. And it's these things that can manifest into whichever house or area of life the Cancer rules within your natal birth chart. It's then the moon that can show you both how and where you express your emotions and feelings most predominantly, as well as how you support yourself and others unconditionally. And lastly, it is the 4th house ruler that shows you how your family upbringing might have shaped and molded you through your conditioning, as well as the type of home that you would like to set up later on in life. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my really long video towards Cancer season. Thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then go right ahead and click that subscribe button and you'll keep updated with all of the videos throughout Cancer season. And I will be back with another video very soon. Bye!